Kavod.
With your permission. Rosh Chodesh Tov. The Gemara tells us, כשנכנס אדם מאמין בשמחה. Reb Chaim Kanievsky told somebody today to tell us that this applies to the first Adam. Second Adam is marbim b'simcha. Very powerful thing. Very powerful Chodesh Adam. It's so powerful, the Gemara says, in case somebody is to go away, and you will not be, on Purim will not be in the place of the Megillah, is allowed to read the Megillah from the beginning of the month. This is unheard, such a thing. It's a date. It says in the Megillah should be read on the 14th and 15th. And if the person cannot make it, so he cannot make it. I could tell you somebody will not be home for Sukkot, so he can do Sukkot on Rosh Hashanah. If Purim was made by Chachamim on the 14th and 15th, how come if somebody cannot make it, he can celebrate it from Rosh Chodesh on? And it's based again on the pasuk in the Megillah sentence. B'chodesh asher nefach, Megillah says, the whole month was changed. The month changed. So the month changed, I understand, but still, to read the Megillah on the wrong day, because Megillah was emphasized it. It's only 14th and 15th, and that person cannot just read it whenever he wants. Nevertheless, yeah, it's Halakha in Shulchan Aruch. It's the Mishnah, it's the Gemara. But if he's not going to be there, it's okay, it's okay. You see from that how powerful Purim is. It's a reflector. That the light of Purim shines back all the way to Rosh Chodesh. This is the major thing that Chatam Sofer said, the light that comes from the Gillat Esther, Chatam Sofer said it's more bright and clear than even the light that comes from the Torah while we read the Torah on Shabbat. You see from the Megillah shines back all the way to Rosh Chodesh. And the question is, what is it all about? As well, the Rambam writes in his commentaries, it's based on Gemara, and Mashiach will come yad b'yameinu amen.
Amen.
And all the Moadim will be cancelled besides Purim. Very strange. What's wrong? We should have the Moadim. No. The reason for that is we should concentrate on Purim. So if you have other holidays, you say, okay, we have Pesach, Shavuot, Sukkot, also you have Purim. Says the Gemara, says the Rambam, and Mashiach will come, there's going to be no other holidays. So what do you care to celebrate other holidays? Because you celebrate other holidays, it takes the power of Purim to be unique. And as the Gemara says, there's going to be no holidays, only Purim. Again, the question is, what's so great about Purim? What Purim is going to stay? Why Purim is going to stay? There's a miracle? There's a lot of miracles. Happened in history, a lot of miracles. It's true. That was a very big miracle. But the Gemara tells us it was a fake miracle. The Gemara says Hashem just really wanted to scare us. And the whole thing in Shamayim, the whole thing was fiction. The purpose was that we should do Teshuvah. Says the Gemara, the Nevi'im, the prophets could not make us do Teshuvah. The Gemara says, Hashverosh gave Haman the ring. Excuse me. Then everybody did Teshuvah, cried on the street, everything. But the Gemara says Hashem knew in the beginning, at the end of the day they'll do Teshuvah. So the whole holiday is a fake. It's fiction. It's like in Egypt. We suffered so much, and Hashem split Yam Suf, Hashem took us in the desert. Everything was non-fiction. The poem is fiction. The Gemara says it. Hashem, they made only inside them. Hashem did only inside him. It's not true. Okay, so then he comes to the question again. So if that's the case, so how come Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot are going to be cancelled? Rosh Hashanah is going to be cancelled, and Purim will stay? So it's fiction. And even if it will not be fiction, what's so great about Purim more than Pesach? It's more than Pesach? What's more than Pesach? And more than Pesach. Kat Bechorot, and then splitting Yam Suf, that's nothing. Nothing. Again, the reason for that is because we want to emphasize Purim. And something very similar in a different angle, says the Ravad and the Rama, also says in the Gemara, Mashiach will come, Amen. All the books of the Tanakh will be going to be cancelled, besides Megillat Esther. We're not going to have not Yeshua, not Shavtim, not Shmuel, not Melachim, not Re'asah, not Yeshayahu, not Yirmiyahu, Yechezkel, nothing. The holy book, no need it, finished. Everything you put it in Geniza. But you're not going to have, what are you going to have at home? Chamisha Chomshei Torah, maybe Sefer Yoshua, and Megillat Esther. Nothing else. No Shira, Shirim, no, nothing. What's the Megillat Esther? It's a regular story. Nothing. Doesn't say anything. Haman wanted to kill us, and Hashem saved us. Baruch Hashem, we have a holiday for that. But to say cancel the whole Tanakh, again, might be the reason, because like this, if you have the Tanakh, you treat Megillat Esther as part of the Tanakh. But there is no Tanakh. It becomes unique. It becomes one of a kind. And it's Chachamim said, no Tanakh. So, what do you care if I have Tanakh? I don't want you to Tanakh. Because then you say, okay, Megillat Esther is part of the Tanakh. No more Tanakh, finished. Mashiach has said, no more Tanakh. Again, doesn't say anything Megillat Esther, doesn't say anything. You have to stop in Megillat Esther, what does it say? It's more important than all the Nevi'im. How to understand, what does it mean exactly? So the Megillah tells us the story of Haman, that he came to Achashverosh and he asked Achashverosh permission that he wants to destroy the Jewish nation. So Achashverosh gave him the permission, and he wrote letters all around the world. The language that he used, he said that on the 13th day of Adar, the following year, in 11 months, the people have the right, and he says 4 things. The first is Lashmid, second is when they destroy, La'arog, to kill, U'le'abed, to wipe out, et kol HaYehudim, the whole nation. Minar v'ad zaken, from small to older person, tav v'nashim yom echad, u'shralam lavoz. So 4 things. 4 things he wrote. He didn't just write, kill them. He should have said in the letter, kill them. Also, to loot the fortune, maybe this was just a candy that everybody should go and kill Jewish people because he will be able to loot the money. Maybe. But still, there are 4 things. And that's what Haman said. That's what Haman wrote. That's why you have to write 4 things. Just write, kill them. No, doesn't say. Then the Megillah tells us that Mordechai found out about it. The Megillah says Mordechai also did 4 things. First thing, he tore his clothing. Then he wore sack. Then he put ashes on his body. And then he was screaming outside. Again, Megillah was with Baruch HaKodesh. It's not really important, the description and what happened. Megillah wants to tell us, according to one opinion over here, the whole Megillah really starts from that chapter. Again, chapters were made by the Goyim, we should not even say the word chapter. But as a sign, we use it. The Goyim made those chapters. They have no meaning, the chapters. Not in the Torah, not in the Tanakh. Nothing. 0. But anyway, the Gemara already had the chapters. The Gemara says, the Gemara doesn't say the word chapter, but the Gemara says from the paragraph it talks about Haman. Okay, well. So in the short version, Haman came and he spoke to Achashverosh. If you need to know all the details, and then Haman wrote letters to kill all the Jewish people. No, the Megillah said no, just not to kill, just those 4 things all together, and then the Megillah is going to describe what did Mordechai do. It's relevant what Mordechai did. And then Megillah continues. The Jewish people started to get those execution notices, and they found out. The Megillah will say also the Jewish people also did 4 things. Again, it sounds like the Haggadah Shel Pesach. If you know Haggadah Shel Pesach is number 4, runs the whole Haggadah. So the Megillah says 4 things by the Jewish people. What did they do? First thing, Evel Gadol HaYudim, mourning. Then the second thing is Tzom, fasting. The next thing is Bechi, people cry. The fourth thing is Misped, saying a eulogy about themselves. Again, 4 things. Very strange thing. Continues the Megillah. After they hung Haman, and after the execution notices were cancelled, the Megillah reads, "Layudim hayta ora v'simcha v'sason v'ikar," 4 things again. And then we have 4 things, 4 mitzvot on Purim. One is the read the Megillah, one is Seudat Purim, one is Mishloach Manot, and one is Tzedakah La'aniyim, Matanot La'Ebyonim. See? 4 things that run through the whole Megillah. Chachamim explain to us. We start from the beginning of the Torah. The Torah's second sentence in the Torah describes what happened on the first day of creation. First, of course, Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim et haaretz. Hashem created the sky and earth. What does it mean? As the way the Gemara explained, the way the Zohar explains, the whole galaxy was full of water. Water was the first entity that Hashem created. Actually, physically. Spiritual thing Hashem created before creation, like Bet HaMikdash and the Luchot, other things. But the first day of creation, that's what happened. It says the Zohar explained, the way the Gemara explained, that the galaxy was full of water, and then Hashem took from his hair snow from under his chair, whatever the secret means, and made it into a little ball, and Hashem shot it inside the water. In the water, that little ball expanded until Hashem said, enough. Enough. Okay? The Torah describes now earth. Second sentence in Bereshit. It has to describe now. Now, right now, earth is inside the water. What do you have to describe? There's nothing to say. Torah says, no, I want to tell you what earth is all about right now. And Torah says 4 descriptions on earth. Tohu, deserted. Vavohu, confusion. Choshech, darkness. Alpnei tehom, it says something deep inside here. It's like a deep hole inside here. There's no hole. I don't see a hole. And what do you mean darkness? It's not darkness. There's no light yet. Hashem didn't put the light on. Hashem didn't turn on the light on. So it's not earth. The description, earth, is deserted. Earth is not deserted. Earth is inside the water. It's not really deserted. Deserted, you see, on a dry land. Nothing was dry in the first day of creation until the 3rd day. Only on the 3rd day, V'terei Yabashah, Kadosh Baruch Hu told the ocean and told the water to go to get to one point, and then earth was in. Until Tuesday, there was no earth. Everything is inside the water. So you can't tell me it's deserted. You can't tell me confusion. You can't tell me darkness. What is darkness? There's not darkness in the air, on earth. There's darkness outside. There's no light. Okay, so the whole galaxy is dark. No, the Torah says, "Aretz hayta tohu vavohu v'choshech alpnei tehom." Says the Gemara, what does it mean exactly? The Gemara and the Chachamim explain to us that in this world, when Hashem created this world, this was Meitat HaGevurah, the world before this world stood 7,000 years, and then Hashem destroyed it. And the information that we have is later, we don't know exactly how many years. Ari did not reveal it. He said this world is right after the world that was before. But there were many more worlds before, many more. Don't know. Because it's a Gemara. No. But we do know, that it says, that right before this one was another one. Very, very similar to that one. To the one we had. And the job that's required by the people in this world is to do certain things that Hashem expects us to do. So the Gemara tells us, what do you mean? I don't know what it is. I'll explain to you what it is. The description of earth, Tohu, refers to the regime of the hierarchy of Babylon, of Babel. Vavohu, confusion, refers to the regime of the Iranian Paras. Choshech, darkness, refers to the regime of the Greeks. Apmete home is wrong. Esau. This is all of them are so-called exiles that Israel had to go through. So of course we fell in a trap. But if we would have been in Egypt long enough, and Hashem would not have pulled us out earlier, we would not have to do this job. Since Hashem pulled us earlier from Egypt, now we are on the job. And our job is the second sentence in the Torah, that's what we have to do. So whatever happened to us, with all the exiles that we went through, this is not happened to be that way. It meant to be that way because we did not behave. So-called HaKadosh Baruch Hu on creation decided those are the 4 punishment or exiles that we're going to go through in order for us to accomplish what Hashem had in mind. This world has to be accomplished and fixed. And that's what it means. Not earth is inside the water. Earth is not deserted. What it means, deserted means Hashem tells you, listen, you'll see earth inside the water. You should know on this little ball, this earth, we're going to have Iraqis, Bavel, they're going to come one day, they're going to destroy the Hamikdash, they're going to kill hundreds of millions of Jews. And you see earth, you look at it, you see over there is Iran. I say, what's Iran? Iran, the Farsim will come and say, the Hashverosh, Haman. You see, the next place is Greece. But the Greeks, the Tamam B'Chashmonaim. That's the secret of creation, the Gemara says. So that is what we have to accomplish in our life, in this time. The same exact episode, says the Gemara, happened when Yaakov Avinu left Haran, and he's going to, he's going to Haran, to Lavan's house. He has a dream. In the dream he sees a ladder, and he sees the ladder has steps. He sees 4 angels climbing up. One climbs 70 steps. This is Babel. We were in exile for 70 years. Hashem already showed Yaakov Avinu what's going to happen. Excuse me, the next one is the angel that represents Paras. He climbs. The next one is from Greece. The next one is from Rome. The same exact story started in Sefer Bereshit, happened to Yaakov Avinu. He's going to exile. I said, you're going where to exile? To Lavan's house? You should know. Exile is something that Hashem made for the world to be corrected and be fixed. And of course, Hashem showed Yaakov Avinu angels because the Gemara says angels are responsible for everything. People have a little mistake, who am I to say it, but it's not Putin. It's the angel that runs Putin from upstairs. The Gemara says every nation has an angel upstairs, and he penetrates inside the prime minister or the president, and he tells him what to do. Nuclear, not nuclear, threaten, do things, send missiles, it's not him. He's hostage by the angel that represents that nation. That every nation has one. The Gemara says that Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu he should not be afraid of King Sichon, was a giant. So the Gemara says Torah says in the Torah. Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu, hey, look, I give you Sichon. The Gemara says, what they have to see. Gemara says Hashem showed Moshe Rabbeinu, the angel upstairs, that he is responsible for that nation, so-called he is tied up. Hashem told Moshe, don't be afraid, you're going to win this guy. So whatever the Torah tells you, second sentence, 7 Bereshit, what's going to be in the future, 4 kinds of exiles, Hashem showed Yaakov on the letter the representative of those nations that are going to put us in exile. And here comes the Megillah, and that's number 4, the writing is the Megillah, that we see that this is really the task. As the Gemara tells us, Haman and Achashverosh both knew all the secrets. Haman even knew that Moshe Rabbeinu's Yotzeit is on Adar. Can you imagine a goy? Jewish people don't know. When Moshe Rabbeinu, this next week, Thursday, is Zayin Adar. They ask people, when Moshe Rabbeinu's Yotzeit? Most of the people don't know. Haman knew everything. And Haman, because he knew everything, he told Achashverosh, I want to destroy the Jewish people. And Achashverosh said, I'm very scared. Look what happened to Paro, look what happened to other nations. And Haman told Achashverosh, don't worry. Hashem is already giving up on the Jewish people. In order, so-called, for his mission to be success, that's what he does. He is going to use so-called the exiles that we went through, we're going to go through, in order for HaKadosh Baruch Hu so-called to agree with him. And as the Gemara says, it's true that Mordechai was screaming, Hashem agreed with it, Hashem agreed with it. As the Rabbi told Mordechai as well, Hashem did agree. Hashem did agree? Yes. And then comes the Gemara and takes it apart to tell us, to explain to us really what was it all about and what is the miracle of Purim. The Chaim tell us like this. Haman writes in his letter, the first thing he said, Le'ashmid, to destroy. And that's what he refers to Iraq, to Babel, Nimach Shimon, Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuzaradan, that they destroy Eretz Yisrael. Destroy the Hamikdash, that's the main thing. And then, it says, they destroy Am Yisrael. That is so-called what Haman is writing in the letter, that listen, come a day, what you have to have in mind, that you're going to kill the Jewish people before you kill them, you say, what am I doing? Or I'm going to destroy. So what is this? I'm going to ignite and so-called to remind the Kadosh Baruch Hu the bad things that we did on Bet HaMikdash. And the main thing was Avodah Zarah. As of course, one of the peak was that Menashe put a statue in the Kodesh HaKodashim at HaMikdash. So that's what he said. A Jew got this letter. He said, what do you have to do? You have to do Lashmid. What does Lashmid mean? It means destroy. Destroy what? What destroy? Not destroy. I'm going to kill the Jew. No. First you have in mind to destroy. That refers to the second sentence in the Torah, V'asata tohu. It's like a shell tohu. And that tohu refers, the Gemara says, to Iraq, to Babel. And what happened? Why haven't doing it? The Gemara says, Rabbi Yochai asked a student, they asked Rabbi Yochai a student, what happened with Haman? So they said, you say it. So they said because they went to the party of Achashverosh. Rabbi Yochai said, well, there's only a few people went to Achashverosh party, only 18,500. Only people in Shushan. Not the Jewish people still war around the world. Rabbi Yochai said, you know what, I tell you what happened. And Nimach Shimon Nebuchadnezzar made a statue. It was a statue, like a Statue of Liberty. It was not Avodah Zarah. And he ordered the whole world to bow down at a certain time. And Am Yisrael bowed down to the statue, besides 3 people, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, they didn't bow down. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Shmuel Yochai said, look, Am Yisrael bowed down to a statue. What is that? Avodah Zarah? It was just like Statue of Liberty. So what's the problem? Hashem is so angry. Chachamim said, listen, Hashem gave you knees, and the knees are to be used only for Hashem. Even if you want to pick something from the ground, and you rest your knees on the ground, you should mumble, you should say all the time, I bow down to pick something from the floor. But if you rest your knees on the floor, you should pray, you should say to Hashem, I really have nothing to do with it, there's no statue over here, I'm nothing. But when you use your knees for something, not just for Hashem, this is something that you betrayed Hashem. That's what we say in Nishma Kol Chai. And that's actually, the Navi tells us, was one of the judges, Gidon. Hashem told him, go draft people, go make a war with Midian. At that time, Midian used to give Israel a hard time. So he drafted 10,000 people. And Hashem told him, you know what? Go and take them to the little river. Tell them that they should drink before the war. And 9,700 put the knees on the floor and took some water and drank water. Hashem told Gideon, listen, only 300 people you take to the war. 9,700 are not qualified. What did they do? They do nothing. They just bowed down to get some water from the river. So what if they put the knees on the floor? No. If you have Hashem as you God, and you know only you bow down to Hashem, that's the power of Halil and Shabbat. I says you're never going to rest your knees on the floor. Never. Even to drink water. No. And that's what Shabbat told his student. You know what happened with Haman? They ignited what they did, Avodah Zarah. If you are not careful about your knees, it means you're not careful about Hashem. And therefore, the Mikdash was destroyed. Main thing, and the first Mikdash was Avodah Zarah, main thing. And that's the Hashmid. That's what Haman wrote in the letter to the Goyim. Listen, you got to destroy what? To tell him to kill. No. You're going to destroy the Jewish nation. Even when I wrote this word, Hashmid, Hashem saw, and then what Hashem agreed in Shemaim about it, because it ignited and woke up the scene of Beit HaMikdash, even though 70 years passed, and Hashem told the Navi in 70 years, Am Yisrael is going to come back to Yerushalayim, we build the second Beit HaMikdash. It's already construction started. All of a sudden the whole thing stopped. What happened? And I say, what happened? Hashem remember what you did, that you bowed down to the Statue of Liberty, even though it was not Avodah Zarah. Hashem did not like it. It is called Lehashmid. Laharog, Gemara says this is for Iran, for us, it's called Vavohu, confusion. Confusion, it says in the Megillah, that Haman sent the letters, והמלך והמן ישבו לשתות, והיו שושן נבוכה. Confusion in Shushan. Confusion. Well, look in the second sentence in the Torah. It says, V'aretz ata tohu vavohu, confusion. What is this? Because Am Yisrael went to the party of Achashverosh, and he did not behave over there. He deserved death penalty. That's what Haman, when he wrote in the letter, he wrote, Laharog. That means, Hashem, you see what I write? I refer to them. The next two is for the future tense. Master Haman and Achashverosh were big magicians. They knew what's going to happen. It refers to the Greeks. The Greeks just wanted to wipe out the Jewish people from the map, unless they could become Greeks. And that the Gemara said because Am Yisrael did not behave so well, and they were tempted by the Greeks with the sports and other things, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu was very upset until the Chashmonaim came and saved us. It's true. But Haman, he wants to remind HaKadosh Baruch Hu about so-called Vechoshich. So, The Torah, if you read the Torah, and you know, as the Gemara says, Hamanu the Torah very well. Hamanu Choshech means Greece. This means Greece. That's why he wrote the Megillah. The fourth thing he wrote, Ushlalam Lavoz. Lud, the fortune. What fortune? What fortune? The Gemara says, based on the sentence in the Torah, a fortune of a person puts him on his feet. Shene'emar, says the Gemara, the Torah describes what happened to Datan and Aviram. The earth swallowed them. The Torah says, Ve'et kol hayikum asher beragleihem. All the fortune that was in their feet. The Gemara says, excuse me, fortune is not in the feet. Fortune is in the bank. I said, it's true. But the fortune you have in the bank gives you stability. And therefore, Haman, so-called, wanted, so-called, to tell HaKadosh Baruch Hu, see that nation that you love so much. Soon. What's going to be soon? Soon they're going to do Lashon Hara. The Gemara says, the sin of Second Beit HaMikdash was Lashon Hara, hatred. Actually, the Gemara says happened in the time of Mordechai and Esther that Haman told Achashverosh, Yishnu Am Echad Mefuzar Umefurad. There's a nation that always have machloket. What's the problem with machloket? Machloket is Lashon Hara. And Lashon Hara is, the Torah tells us, starts with their feet. And people go visiting and standing, talking Lashon Hara, and it says that is what Haman said in his letter to the Jewish people, to the Goyim, Lud, the Jewish money. Why do we lud the Jewish money? Because the money is giving stability to the person to stand on his feet. Let's say somebody has difficulties in his business, and says, no, he's standing on his feet. Where do you get this expression? From the Torah. The Torah says it. So that's what it means. The letter that Haman wrote, he only wanted to so-called to tell HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I am going to do the job, that Am Yisrael don't do the job. Because we are here to do the job. And that's Hashem hints to us in the second sentence in the Sefer Bereshit, and also showed Yaakov the video, the future video. And that future video, you should know all the Avodah Zarah people know it. They all know. When Yaakov was on the way to Laban, the Avodah Zarah of Laban told him, Yaakov is on the way, without satellite. And he's very strong, because he already had a fight with Esav. They're very strong. They knew all the secrets. And therefore, come the Megillah and tells us, look, that's what happened exactly. It's not Haman wants to kill us. Haman wants to kill us, we can deal with him. If Haman comes and is going to tell HaKadosh Baruch Hu what we did in the past and what he sees what's going to be in the future, like the power also told them, Israel, I see some things that happened to you in the desert. I see something. And he was able to see. Because you can see through the stars, you can see all these things. And that's what the Megillah wants to tell you. The decree of Haman was not just a decree to kill us. It's so-called to remind the HaKadosh Baruch Hu about certain things. And those things, those four things, is a demand by HaKadosh Baruch Hu that we are the chosen one and we should take care of certain things. We don't do. We just do the opposite. And then comes the Megillah describes Mordechai. Mordechai, when he saw, is doing four things. The first thing, he tears his clothing. This is for the Babel. And then he put a sack. This is for Iran. And then he put ashes. This is for the Greeks. And then he's screaming. Master says, why is he screaming, Mordechai? What's screaming? I said, tell you what's screaming. Master says, I'll tell you why. Because Esav, that is Rome, was screaming when he found out that Yaakov got the bracha. Says the Gemara, it's Yaakov's fault. Yaakov, you made Esav scream. Your great-grandson, Mordechai, there was a spark of Yaakov, he will start screaming on the street. He starts screaming, why are you screaming? I'm screaming for what's going to be with Rome. But with Rome, Rome is Esav. What happened with Rome? Well, it's going to be, no. You caused Esav to scream, you're going to scream. That's Megillah. And then Megillah goes to Am Yisrael. Also 4 things. Am Yisrael found out about the decrees. Again, they did certain things. Those things that Mordechai did. And what Am Yisrael did, this is a teshuvah on those 4 exiles. That 2 of them you are at, and 2 of them are going to come. And then the Megillah tells us, every place Am Yisrael war, and they heard about execution notice. Evel Gadol HaYehudim, mourning. Mourning, to mourn is like you mourn on Tisha B'Av, like you mourn Bet HaMikdash. This is for the exile of Iraq, Babel. Tzom, fasting. What did you do? You went to the party of Achashverosh. Now you have to do a Ta'ani. Uvechi, he did not behave, he's not going to behave, because that's going to come out in some of the Greeks. They cry. O misped, it says, talk about yourself, how many problems the Jewish people have. This is Rome, this is the home. And then comes the Megillah, and it says, after Mordechai told them Torah, and Mordechai told them to accept Torah Sheba'al Peh, היהודים הייתה אורה, זאת Torah. Says the Gemara, what is this? I must tell you what it is. In Iraq, the Gemara was written. And Megillat Echa calls Iraq darkness. Like Greece is darkness, but Megillat Echa refers to Babel as a dark place. B'machshakim moshivani. Hashem put us in darkness. The Gemara says, what do you mean? What do you prefer to say? Because I tell you what, the Torah that was written in the Shas, Talmud Bavli, what we have, was written in Iraq, shone, put lights around the world. It's actually, the Chachamim say, the light that Hashem created the first day. Hashem puts it in the Torah. You can get the vision with the first light if you study the whole Gemara Shas by heart. And it says in Megillah, you know what happened? The competition of Purim. I tell you what, this is something that we did Teshuvah. Mordechai did what he did, 4 things. Am Yisrael did 4 things, what they did. Eventually, the accomplishment was 4 victories to fix the second sentence in the Torah, so-called the dream of Yaakov will be as a good dream. The Torah. What do you mean Torah? Torah is Babel, Iraq. At the Soviet Hamikdash, we went to exile. Again, we went to exile again. After Soviet Hamikdash, over there we accomplished the Gemara. The Gemara is light. Therefore, the Megillah says, it's not light outside. It says, Ora means Torah. It says, what is it? That refers to the first thing, the Hashmid. The Nebuchadnezzar tried to destroy us completely. But eventually, in Iraq, we had the Talmud Bavli. Vesimcha. Vesimcha means that we were happy to do the mitzvot. We accepted the mitzvot with happiness. This is to correct the sin we ate at the party of Achashverosh, to correct what's called confusion. Chamim tell us if you are confused, you don't know what to do. What should I do? I don't know. They said you study Gemara. Chaim Rosen said you study Gemara 3 hours. After 3 hours you study without stopping. The first idea that you have in your head, that is the advice of the Torah to you. Let's call Vesimcha. Gemara says, En simcha ki hatarat asfikot. The biggest happiness that you have is that you're not confused. I said, what's confusion? Shushan was confused. What's confusion? The second sentence in the Torah, Vavohu. Vesason is Brit Milah. And it says, Am Yisrael were happy to do Brit Milah. Not likewise, they're going to do in the time of the Greeks. They hated really to do Brit Milah. Some of us wanted, but most of them hated. V'ikar is tefillin. As the tefillin is like Torah, tefillin is in order for the Goyim to be afraid of us, to correct the home. And then comes Mordechai and Esther with a prophecy and said, listen, Purim is not a day to get drunk. Purim is a day of accomplishment. That you can accomplish on Purim to finish all those gezerot. That all those gezerot, they come from those four things that Hashem hinted to us in Sefer Bereshit. Please, the first mitzvah, Mordechai said, read the Megillah. Read the Megillah is Torah. The Torah is the Torah. On Purim, every year you have Torah. I said, what do you mean? You read the Megillah. Read the Megillah is the accomplishment of Torah. Read the Megillah is going to fix the Avodah Zarah that we did in the first Beit HaMikdash, and we went to exile. We still in exile. Some people are in certain exiles. Not everybody is the same exile. And it says that exile of Bavel is going to be fixed on Purim when you hear the Megillah. And then comes the Gemara and says, the Megillah is very, very unique. You hear the Megillah, says the Gemara, that's Salach and Shulchan Aruch. If you miss one vowel, that it's not exactly what the Megillah means, or you missed one letter, you didn't do the mitzvah. There's no such thing on Shabbat. You come to the Knesset to read the Torah, you don't have to hear every word. If you have to go outside for a certain good reason, so it's nothing. But the Megillah is not like this. There's no excuse. Listen, I had to go to the bathroom. Doesn't matter where you go. Doesn't matter. You miss one letter, read again the Megillah from the place you missed. In certain conditions, of course. Sometimes you have to start all the way from the beginning. And so what is it all about? We start.
That should be good. This one's working.
Okay. So therefore, Kriyat Megillah is crucial to listen to Purim to every letter, to every vowel, because it's Orah. So Mordechai and Esther, Ruach HaKodesh, were able so-called to pull whatever happened those days. They should come again every year. So every year we have the original Purim. It's just a yortzeit of the other Purim. That every year you have Purim. Every year you have Purim. That's the power of Purim. It's not what happened. It says Pesach happened. Sukkot, happened. Shavuot happened. It's true, it's something in the air that is something likewise. But Purim is not likewise. The accomplishment then is the accomplishment now. And the Megillah continues. What else do I have to do on Purim? You Sudat Purim. So what is Sudat Purim? What's the purpose of Sudat Purim? He said, this is, remember, the problem in Iran was because we went to Achashverosh's party without our permission. And we didn't behave. Now you have a mitzvah to sit at home like a holy person and you eat Sudat Purim. And it says that's the accomplishment of Vavohu, of the confusion. The confusion started because you went to Sudat Purim. And actually was before, from creation. On Purim you may fix it. The next one is Mishloach Manos for Greece. And the next one is Matanot LaAvyonim. You have to have two presents to two poor people. Why two? You get two because Rome is, as we said before, is for the fortune. The fortune stabilizes the feet of the person, and the feet of the person is responsible for certain difficulties in life that comes from Lashon Hara, the hatred. People hate each other. This is the exile of Rome that we are at now. Says the Megillah. Mordechai says, listen, you have to give Matanot LaAvyonim, Tzedakah on Purim to two people. I said, what is it all about? Yeah, because, the feet of the person is being stabilized by the money. And since we did not behave, we have an exile of poverty. In order to get out of poverty and to be able to support ourselves and have a good year, that is called Matanot LaAvyonim. And here, Chachamim said, now you understand what Purim is all about. Purim is not a yortzeit. Purim is not what happened. Purim is happening. And therefore, says the Rambam, says the Gemara, Purim will stay forever. Because Purim stays forever, not because we're going to stay to remember what happened in Purim. That's what the Rabbah says, the Megillah will stay forever. Because the Megillah tells you what is our job on this world, to continue to blossom earth and to do the Kiddush Hashem for Kadosh Baruch Hu, because that's the purpose of creation. And here comes Chachamim and tell us, look, somebody is not going to be able to do it on Purim, and the beginning of the month is going away, and he knows Purim is going to be someplace no Megillat Esther, so you can do it on the beginning of the month also. He says, where do you get this from? He says, the Megillah says, the month was changed. What do you mean the month was changed? It's a secret what it means. But what it means is that Purim is happening all the time. So because it's happening already, the energy of Purim is so strong that the energy of Purim sends back the energy all the way to the beginning of the month. And it's not because it was, because it's going to happen, it's happening. Start being happy. What do you mean start being happy? What is it now? You're happy because Purim is coming. So what is it all about? It's all about, it means from the beginning of the month already things are happening. That's what the Gemara says. The month of Adar is something that's happening. It's not something happened and the month of Adar has a mazal. And this comes the Torah and says, okay, you know what's going to be the end? So the sentence reads in Parashat Bereshit. After the Torah describes those 4 exiles, Torah said, the Ruach Elokim, the wind of Hashem, merachefet al pnei hamayim, floats on the water. Says the Gemara, what is that now? You told me 4 exiles. You told me 4 things. Okay, fine. What is it all about? Gemara says, Ruach Elokim, kisei hakavod, sails, the chair of Hashem sails, and on top of the sail is Ruach Elokim, the wind of Hashem. Gemara says, what wind of Hashem? Gemara says it's called the wind of Mashiach. So we, on Purim, we're going to fix that, then Mashiach comes. The accomplishment of Purim is to bring the Mashiach. Let's the Torah emphasize. In the same sense, Torah calls earth deserted, confusion, darkness. Torah says, you know what the final thing is? Mashiach. Because it's in our hand to accomplish Purim on Purim. Mashiach. Amen.
Amen.
Amen.